What good is a harbour without boats to sail? Today, we build a ship. Good morning and welcome to MorningCraft. Grab a drink, get comfortable, and let's begin. Not so long ago, we built this beautiful marina. It's got so many interesting builds in it, but it has one major flaw. There isn't a single ship in this harbour, which doesn't really make sense at all. So I got to work on our very first ship. I started off by following a schematic as a rough guide to build the hull of the ship. I was just going to copy a schematic for all of this, but halfway through it started to feel really clunky and it was really hindering me. So I decided it was better to go it alone and finish it off myself. But you can see me here building the base of the ship. And if you haven't used schematics before, they're a great way to visualize builds, take backups of the builds you love. And if you're not feeling particularly creative, you can just copy someone else's amazing work. And with that, the base of the ship was completed. I really wanted this to be my flagship, my largest and most impressive ship. I used spruce as I think it's the best type of wood for a ship like this. It's just got that sort of natural earthy tone. Oak is more something you'd make furniture out of. And dark oak, just a little bit too dark for something like this. But as you can see here, the build was coming together in such a weird way. I was moving a bit more like a 3D printer than somebody actually enjoying building something. And so around about here, I turned off the schematic and I began going it alone. If you've made it this far into the video, my question for you is, have you ever sailed a boat? I actually have done this, and I mean with the proper sails with all the ropes and that, not just like steering a motor, but like proper sailing. So then I just had to copy the same design onto the other side of the ship, and I'd have a nice even hull to work with. And here is where I really began to get creative. I really started to freestyle as I got onto this bit of the front of the ship. Don't know what that's called. Has it got a name? I think it's got a name. And after finishing that, it was time to get to work on the sails. And I started by putting up the masts and putting in some extra decking. So let's take a look at a few comments from the last episode. We've got this comment from the Desolator, who says the final library is great and suggests adding some tables. We've got this comment from Ravenpaw, who likes the armour stands. This comment from Muddy Kitten, who agrees that the library is pretty epic. And Mr. Firebirdie is starting an SMP and is going to build a huge library. When you do that, do post it online so I can show it off in the next episode. But the really terrifying thing about building a ship like this is always the sails. They're so difficult, and if you don't get them right, they look awful. But I managed to get them pretty good. And so I stepped away from the computer for a bit, and I thought about what I wanted my sails to look like. And then I just built them. This is the Swordfish. It's the strongest and fastest ship that the Dawn Protectorate has access to. And it's infused with a magic that makes it rather unique. It's a formidable opponent anywhere it's found, and its sails are specifically built to capture every last pound of wind. Its unique and sharp shape makes the possibility of being rammed by this ship a terrifying thought. And its wind-catching sails glisten in the sun. If Lander Stone wasn't the king of the sea, this would be.
You know, Chapman, I think we may be in the employ of a madman. I do wonder what Lander Stone will think of this. He's certainly not the king of the skies.
I want to know what King Olafson IV is going to think of this. Maybe quite the surprise for him.
His face will be quite the picture, I should imagine.
You both seem so surprised. Did I not tell the pair of you that I could give us dragons of our own? Perhaps I'm worth keeping around after all, Chapman.
And there we have it. It's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have the most amazing day. In the next episode, we're going to be starting work on our university. So, I hope to see you there, but if I don't, I'm going to leave you with this daily quote. Here we go.